I've been looking forward to this one for a couple of weeks. We're out here on Redfeather Falls to continue our Let's Go Trophy Hunt series, and this time, I finally filled the bear barrel, so I'm hoping to get at least one black bear, along with hopefully some other things out here on this map, and as you can see, we've got a weapon that we almost never use, the 405 lever action. It's a gun that we probably have fired less than like 50 times, but it is a big game weapon, and Redfeather Falls has as much big game as we could want, so I'm hoping to maybe make some use of that. And we also have the 10-point crossbow and the 454 today. Now the plan for today's hunt is actually to kind of give the bear barrels a little bit of time. Normally when I hunt a bear barrel, I will pretty much immediately go to that spot at the beginning of the hunt, and then in this case we have two barrels. I'd eventually make my way to the second one, but I thought for today, maybe if we give 30-45 minutes before we get to a barrel, that might give any bears that wouldn't be there immediately a chance to actually move in. And I think this happened last time. A really long time to calculate the score, but we finally got that out of the way. And basically we're up here in the northwest, so it's what I would consider blacktail and maybe some elk territory. And the plan is to just kind of move along down lakes. We actually don't have a blacktail in the lodge yet, so if we could get a good one, that would be ideal. And then we'll make our way to the bear barrel and see what's going on down in that area. Well, as per usual in the Hunter Classic, things don't go exactly to plan, and we are here at our bear barrel with no further blacktail sightings or tracks. There were no blacktail bucks anywhere up in there, but we do have one decent bear. 20 to 22 is an alright estimate. I'm not sure due to the maps that we have. And I just heard a bear. There was a female underneath his stand. It took off and I did not want it to spook our bear, so taking that shot quickly, but I know that we have Settler Creek's Rougarou Bayou and Redfeather Falls as maps with black bear on them. And maybe before the next time we go to Settlers, we could place a bear barrel there, and I think I've got one on Rougarou to maybe fill for the next hunt. In theory, we should be able to get at least a couple of like 22 plus bears. This guy's probably at 21 barely. I think we got one in this range last time. It's just not quite with bear barrels what I think we can do for the trophy lodge. Now there are 4 slots to fill, and with the maps we are hunting for this series, black bear are the only species that can fill them. So we're going to have to eventually start to get some better sized bears, but we have another barrel to visit, and like I said, on other maps we can start to place barrels as well if needed. And sticking with the trend of things not going as expected, we have a whitetail buck. We're just kind of south of the bear barrel, and you do get whitetail around here on occasion, but I wouldn't say it's the most common thing. When I heard the grunt originally, I expected to see a blacktail, so maybe this will be a good whitetail spawn. Of course, the overarching goal of this entire series is to hopefully stumble into a 200-inch whitetail, and I've explained the idea before. So often you find your trophy animals when not looking for them, so by having incentive to hunt other species to fill the trophy lodge, I'm hoping maybe that's how we stumble into something like that. It's not likely, but at least it's a reason to be optimistic about it. But a 109 there, hopefully that is a good sign for the whitetail hunting. Eventually, as we get through to this bear barrel, I do want to go down through and kind of check out the whitetail on this map, so maybe we'll be getting to that sooner than I thought. Now that looks a little better. Max score estimate, a lower weight estimate, but we've seen with bears in the past, the weight doesn't always matter that much. Now, with the 405, I'm not sure. No sights at all that we can make that shot, but I think with the 454, we might be able to pull it off. So, they had all spooked as we came into the stand. I didn't want to spend too long waiting on that. It looks like maybe that shot wasn't the best. I don't know what to expect, frankly, from the 454 at that range, but we'll just hit him a couple of times, and he is actually tipping over right over there, so that will work. If we see 22 plus pop up on the score, he may end up making our lodge, and there's a chance he could be at 23. I would expect a higher weight estimate needed, but I feel like I've had 23 plus bears in the past that are in that kind of like 255, 258 kg range, which he has a shot at, so we'll see. I don't know which shot that was, but the placement looks good. He is 240 kg, not the best. 22.4 though. I mean, like I said, considering we have 4 full body platforms to fill, and it can only be black bear, I think this guy might occupy one at least for now. So far from being a huge black bear, but not too bad. I'm pretty happy with that, especially considering we are about to more or less head out of black bear territory. At least coming away with one decent one is nice, and I can't forget if I tagged my stat or not, but we can go back into the hunt history and do it that way if I did forget to. So it would seem our first encounter in what I would call kind of official whitetail territory is not the best. I think that said 60 to 80 on the score estimate, and he's got a sticker, which will knock his score down a little bit more, but at least it's good to run into a buck this quickly. We're not too far from the last barrel. In fact, it's happened in both occasions. Shot a bear to barrel with a gun and only had to go, I don't know, a couple hundred meters, about 600-700 in this case, and we got a buck down. So this one is going to be smaller than the last. 62 score, in fact, not exactly anything impressive, but like I said, with the last one, hopefully seeing the bucks that quickly is a good sign. I mean, better than the last buck, 105 to 130. In fact, I guess he has a chance of being our biggest thus far, but I think the first one was 124 or so most likely this guy is not going to even be that. But we haven't gone that far. Again, no complaints about the numbers of whitetail considering the area that we've covered so far. I wouldn't expect 3 on any other hunt, so that part is good. The other good side is, thus far our shooting with the 10-point crossbow has been solid enough to drop all the deer, but 108 for that guy. You know, back 4, 5, maybe 6 years ago, when the Hunter Classic was the only game that I played on this channel, I had almost like a saying for situations such as this, which was basically, if we get the small ones out of the way at the beginning, that'll just make more room to get the bigger ones towards the end of the hunt. And in some ways I still stand by that, the concept basically being, if when a buck like this calls and we call it in and take it out, then we're not going to stumble upon a track that maybe is near max weight, something that might compel us to track it and end up wasting time with a result such as this. And you know, we're not exactly at the beginning of this hunt due to the black bear portion earlier. We're actually just hitting the 2-hour mark now, with, by the way, what is now our biggest buck. The last one had been 109. I don't know where I got the 120 idea, but hopefully, especially as we continue to encounter bucks, we're going to see a better one down in this area. I'm still optimistic because the bucks continue to show up, but the one potential obstacle, because this isn't the beginning of a hunt, it's 10 o'clock. We might be having some whitetail that are sleeping, and if we don't happen to stumble upon them or see their track, we could walk right past the big one and it's never going to call or anything to let us know it's there. And by the way, because that moose called, just want to point out we are not going to be pursuing that one. That is not at all what we're after. You know, I guess it's just going to take a little longer in this hunt to get some of those bigger ones than other hunts. We are just running into small buck after small buck. At least some have been what I would describe as average, but this might be the smallest yet. I think we got a 62 with that kind of rack similar to this bigger frame and a sticker, but I'm thinking this guy's going to be a little lower, hard shot at least, and 57.9. So at some point, hopefully we can start moving in the right direction. Lots of bucks. Again, no complaints there, but I mean, we only went, I don't know, 300 meters since the last one? At least it's consistent. We can kind of appreciate that. It's a bit unfortunate that I look at this hunt as kind of like a failure. It is Redfeather Falls after all. The last time we were here for the series, we added 5 trophies to the new lodge, and of course when it comes to adding trophies to this lodge, they're maybe not to the same level as trophies for our main lodge, for instance, but there were still some nice kills. And despite the fact that we did kill a 22 plus black bear today, I really thought we'd end up doing better with whitetail and other stuff. And after the last buck, in fact I don't even remember the score, the 57 scoring buck, I kind of reached what I would call the turn back phase of the hunt, where essentially if we get a buck grunt and we're calling it in from a distance and we can see it's going to be another, like, you know, 120 or less, generally I'll just kind of turn the other direction and try to continue on. And unfortunately that happened time after time. I have 47 animals spotted in this hunt, and there just was not too much for anything interesting. So we're heading back to the lodge without so much as another addition after that black bear, which was like our 3rd kill. And I mean, at least it's something, but I was I'm really thinking we do better. I had actually forgotten as well, we added a cinnamon black bear to this lodge back in March. 21.6 for that guy, so at least the one new addition today is an improvement from that at 22.4. And I guess that's good as well for the variety. A couple of different fur types there, but not much more to speak of. And I think it was last week, in fact, with our melanistic coyote, I mentioned at the end, like, you know, sometimes you get into those hunts where it just feels like persistence is going to pay off. And I thought in today's hunt that it was going to be a case of that, but what it turned out to be is just persistence and not really having any results in what is a nearly 4-hour hunt. But I guess that is what makes a game such as this so much fun. If it was guaranteed that we just stick around and hunt for, say, almost 4 hours and that we are going to get something good, it's not nearly as fun when that something good does occur. So hopefully next time things will fall in our favor a little bit better. But at the very least, we did get to add one thing to the lodge today, and one that I think is guaranteed to stay. The 21.6 cinnamon, I'm not sure, we'd like to replace that ideally, I think. But at least above 22, I am fairly happy with that guy. But anyway, that is officially going to do it for this video, so thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.